Alright, this is the last video in the how to speedrun saga, if we want to call it that. Alright. This will be going over movement. The video I've been talking about and saying I do since the first video. Now, there is two different types of movement you're going to want to do, and they kind of transfer into each other. There's also different types of like sliding mechanics you can do, but these are the two main ways to like sprint and open tunnels. So the first one that's going to be useful for more tight and treacherous little corners, you're going to see that mostly on like level 11 type stuff, where you're going to need to keep a good pace but not try to kill yourself. For this one, really simple. Hold W, hold sprint, and then start pressing spacebar and crouch around the same time. Really simple. It takes like no skill to do. This problem I ran into many times when I started doing this mechanic. What you want to do if you start running out of stamina constantly, you're just going to want to hold down, crouch a lot longer, and you'll gain your stamina back, and just constantly do that and you're going to basically never run out of stamina. Anyways, movement number 2 is going to be flick jumping. A little bit more complicated. It took me way too many hours to actually learn this before I started putting it into speedruns. So you're going to want to start out kind of what you usually do. It's going to be using the same kind of stamina saving method as I forget whatever this jump was called, or movement, or whatever you want to call it. It's just runs off of that, but you're going sideways. You're doing that, and then every now and then, or not every now and then, but for every jump, you're gonna just flick your screen. You can do it to learn. I would recommend flicking higher. But once you start getting the movement and actually hitting the flick, start doing it a lot lower so you can see where you're going and not get motion sickness, because that's not fun. Now, for things you're going to want to try to do as often as possible to start going faster and faster, the main one and the last thing we're going to talk about is wall sliding. It's really simple, really. Think of flick jumping, but you just do it onto a wall. There's different like types of wall slides, but I'm not getting into that because that's not my problem. Y'all can figure that out for yourselves. And sorry if I sound like I'm being rude, but I just don't want to go through all the trouble of trying to find all of them. Because there's way too many different odd occurrences with wall slides. I've literally gone upwards while sliding on a wall, which doesn't really make sense. You know, you can't really go up. Gravity doesn't let that happen. So anyways, this one's really simple. Just flick jump like usual, but you're just gonna do it more backwards onto a wall. And usually you want to do this onto surfaces that are long enough for your character to flick jump or basically run along for a while. So don't do it off of like something. Say this was a flat wall. Say this was just a flat wall right here. You don't want to do it off of this, because that's just a waste of time and yeah, everything. Also, there's a hole right there. Anyways, you want to do it more against like longer surfaces like this. This will just help you go a lot faster. Also, when you're moving, don't have your flashlight equipped. Flashlight and camera, when you have them held out, make you slower. Even if you have your camera equipped on a wall slide, you go a lot slower. So, wait, actually, hold up. that gives me the idea. I think you could probably use your camera to wall slide a lot longer. So I could probably mess around and make some random really long jumps for this game. But anyways, just keep your camera and flashlight almost always off. The only times you want those on is if you are going through like a very small vent where you're crouching, or at least that's for camera. You want to have your camera out when you're in those vents. And then you only want to have your flashlight on usually for 16, 8, and sometimes for some circumstances, level 5. All 3 of those levels, very fine to use the flashlight. It's very normal for that, because without it, you're pretty much running in the dark and hoping you make it to your destination. Anyways, that's all for the movement video, and that finally concludes this series that I put on hiatus for pretty much like 3 months. So anyways, I will see you guys later in another video. It'll probably be another dumb video of this game. But anyways, goodbye everybody.